Und das war was Neues und damals wollte man eben auch dabei sein, wenn da diese Menschen aus fernen Ländern kommen, uns besuchen. Und sicherlich waren die auch in der kompletten Kriegsbemalung und auch optisch ein Leckerbissen. Und jetzt liegt er hier in Dresden, fern seiner Heimat, hier bei uns auf dem Friedhof. Und wir sind immer wieder begeistert, dieses schillernde Kleinod, sage ich mal, in dieser sonst eher traurigen Umgebung mit den Persönlichkeiten, die wir hier trotzdem zu liegen haben, bei uns zu haben. Und nun ist er unser Indianer. Nun bleibt er hier.
Zu jenen Zeiten haben wir gelegentlich Potentaten aus allen Gegenden der Welt bei uns begrüßt. Aber Tutu überschattete alle diese Ereignisse. Halb Dresden stand unter den Fenstern der Indianerwohnungen. Man lauschte bis tief in die Nacht den melancholischen Gesängen, die aus den offenen Fenstern schollen. Meine Hand erinnert sich noch heute des bärenmäßigen Druckes, den Tutu am Leibe hatte.
Die Geschichte vom Häuptling Tutu beginnt an einem Frühlingstag im Jahr 1913. Das ist nicht etwa der Tag, an dem er mit seinem Namen Nupala bei den Lakota Sioux in der Prärie Nordamerikas geboren wurde, sondern es ist der Tag, an dem der Zirkus Sarasani die Sensation der Saison präsentiert. Tutu, den großen Häuptling der Sioux, Herrscher über die Krieger der Prärie. Ein Jahr später geschieht etwas Merkwürdiges. Häuptling Tutu verkündet seinen letzten Willen.
That's my work.
Oh, okay. My grandfather, Onashola, is the father of Edward Two Two, and Alice Two Two is my grandmother's mother. And then my mother is Mary One Feather, and her Lakota name is Wankal Uwi. She lives above. And then it's me. And I'm Tratiopa Washtewi. It means good door woman. And then my son is Nupa Ohitika, and this is Onashola, his son. We're going to go across up there where Grandpa Nupala used to live, okay?
I want to make a house.
Right there? Are you sure?
I make a house.
No, that's not a house. It's like a teepee. Yeah. Where's the other one? This up. Breathe. Underneath. Stick it under. It's a mullein teepee.
Let's make a blanket up there.
We don't have one there. Knock, knock. So who's there?
Who is it?
Grandma. This allotment we live on is Edward Two Two, our grandfather, and he's buried in Dresden, Germany. We know that. I don't know, I can't say I know what my grandpa thought, but from his thinking, we have probably one of the best parcels of land on this creek. It's got everything. And there's like a spirit here. It's just like an old-timey spirit. Sometimes I come out here and I feel like there's a whole bunch of people sitting outside, visiting.
Edward Two Two war kein Häuptling, so wie wir sie aus Romanen und Westernfilmen kennen. Diese Häuptlinge gab es in der Realität nicht. Genauso wenig wie diese Bilder. Es sind Inszenierungen und Fiktionen. Edward Two Two war ein Oglala Lakota Sioux und das Oberhaupt einer Großfamilie. Als Kind erlebte er, wie die Lakota den Büffelherden folgten und sie jagten. So lange, bis weiße Siedler gewaltsam ihr Land eroberten und die Lakota in Reservate zwangen. Aus Kriegern und Jägern sollten nun sesshafte Farmer werden. Von einem freien in ein fremdbestimmtes Leben. Edward Two Two hat diesen Wandel erlebt. Zum neuen Alltag im Reservat gehört Ration Day, der Tag, an dem die Rationen zum Überleben verteilt werden. Die Regierung erklärt die Lakota zu unmündigen Waisenkindern des amerikanischen Staates.
What would really work for us here is if we had a tobacco store or a gas station. And we've thought of growing food and selling our vegetables, which probably won't be any big scale thing, but they're all attempts at survival, you know. And so when you live on the reservation long enough, you become like a jack of all trades. You know how to do all kinds of things. The thing that's good here is we don't have to pay a landlord rent, and we don't have to pay taxes. And if we did, we'd probably be living under a bridge somewhere and be street people, or occupying some of our federal land, getting chased around by cops or something.
Lease checks and grant checks came out, they said. So, or in Kyle, they did. Yeah, there's at the post office. Grant checks and lease checks, they said. Get it 28, please. Please be 65 Bravo. Yankee 55. 65 Bravo, Yankee 55.
I didn't copy.
Hello. Hello, it's the police. Anybody home? Hello, George. Yeah, there's nobody here at the house. At 10? Okay. All right.
No, that's wrong. You look back in the history books, that's wrong. Wow, you know, whose history is that? It's not the Lakota's history. It's not the Navajo's history. It's not the Apache's history. It's what people were told by white settlers, or, you know, it was the half-truth. the half-truth of many things. You know, they were placed on reservations, but they fought hard to preserve their way of life. They were the last to actually give in, you know. I mean, they fought to the end until they couldn't fight no more, until they were so put down that they had no other choice but to stop and try to at least survive, you know. You wonder why he wanted to go over there and stay there, because, you know, over there at least they treated him as a human being, you know. Dewey Beard, he was one of the survivors here, and he's a relation of ours. And my mom, she was old enough to, she remembers him as a young girl and the stories that he would tell about, you know, what happened here. And they have archives of when they interviewed him about what happened here. And, you know, there's a lot of stories out there that are, in my eyes, the truth of what happened here. And I come here and I pray. I pray to the spirits and ask them for guidance and ask them for strength and compassion. And, you know, I think about that day of how cold it was that day and the day after when they actually had to, when they came back to, you know, see if there was any survivors or if they were all dead or, you know, it's a sad thing. It's kind of more of an open sore or a wound that will never heal. You have to excuse me for a minute. I need to go make this prayer.
The 7th Cavalry was camped where the underneath museum is, right down there. And they had the Hotchkiss guns, the cannons, 4 of them right up here. One pointing that way, one pointing that way. And they had scouts and troops on the hills back there. And so they're trying to take a deaf man's gun away, and he wouldn't give it up. So he fired a shot in the air, and yeah, they took his gun away, and that's what triggered it. And they all just started firing down there, and the people, they ran, but they didn't get far because they chased them down on horses and shot them down. Yeah, but the mass graves right up there, over like 360 bodies. Lost Bird, she's a survivor. She's the first grave up here. She's they found her under her mother. They shot her right in the back, and she fell. And a blizzard happened, but she was just covering her baby, so nothing happened to her baby. Yeah, but Daniel Colby claimed her as a prize. he took her to circuses and put her up as display and just said this is one of the survivor of the massacre. Telling the white people that, but that's what happened. Just said this is a tourist attraction. A lot of tourists come here over the summers, like all over the world. Yeah, but the place is just a tourist attraction. Tourists come here every day. Yeah, but they should just stay away. Sacred ground, this is where my ancestors are buried. Have respect and just don't walk up here. Yeah.
Im Jahr 1891, nur ein Jahr nach dem Massaker am Wounded Knee, wird Edward Two Two, wie so viele Lakota-Männer aus dem Pine Ridge Reservat, Soldat der US-Armee. Freiwillig. Nur, wie frei ist der Wille der Lakota in dieser Zeit? In seinen Rekrutierungsunterlagen steht in der Rubrik Beruf Indianer. Er ist 32 Jahre alt, 1,75 Meter groß und wiegt 80 Kilo. Die US-Armee hat viele Fragen an den Rekruten Edward Two Two. Ob er Wahnvorstellungen habe zum Beispiel und ob er Alkohol trinke. Es ist die einzige Frage, die er mit mehr als nur einem Ja oder Nein beantwortet. Manchmal, wenn ich die Gelegenheit dazu habe, dann trinke ich. Aber nicht so viel, um mich zu betrinken. Er versteht nur wenige Worte Englisch. Sein Zustand, so wird zusammengefasst, ist exzellent, für die Armee und einen Krieg geeignet. Sechs Jahre später trägt Edward Two Two wieder eine Uniform. Er ist ein Mitglied der Indian Police im Pine Ridge Reservat, in dem er nun lebt.
I wonder why they never smiled. Do a lot of the people still look like this? This looks like Grandpa Edward's sister, Ellen, right here. And then there's kills his enemy at night right there because he's really tall. And this looks like his sister right there, Ellen. I don't know if she was there when he died, though. Oh, yeah, I remember this. This was a nice picture. I know my grandmother really loved him. She made songs for him, and she'd always cry. And so if you look at these pictures of these women here, this one here and her, this is Buffalo Dancing Woman, and this is the other wife, because she's the one that didn't want to speak English. She still spoke Lakota. I think it was hard for them to go, but it was probably hard for them to come back too, and like the effects of the Indian Wars did take its toll, you know. So I think that's that trauma, you know. And money can't pay for that trauma.
Jail. They take us 36 miles away. Go jail. And they let us go, then we gotta walk. Start walking.
Oh, and why did you go to jail?
drinking. It's legal. It's illegal down here to get drunk. So. Yeah, but other than that, I don't know what to tell you guys.
How do you like to live here?
Who, on the res? You just gotta know how to live. They pay us to stay here, the government. We live off GA, SSI, got our VA checks coming in. All of that. If you can handle it, then it's good. You know, ain't nothing. It's cool though. Good. I gotta get walking. All right, you guys have a nice day.
Bye.
Guys, take it easy.
They need to stay on the reservation. Stuck or what? You guys okay? Just come to check. Said there's a house party here. You guys are right. What's that? Okay, sounds good. Evans, is that you? Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Well, just checking. All right. This is all that we have left from our cultural genocide, from all the years that we've been pushed back and put down by our government. You know, this is what we have. We have this stretch of land here. You got to take care of it. We deal with domestic violence, child abuse, child neglect type of things. It's real sad, because these are ultimately our people that are laying on the ground, passed away. You know, you go to this different scenarios or scenes, whatever, and all the bad that you see, those are your relatives.
Well, tomorrow's Halloween, huh?
You bet.
Okay, God bless you. Well, time I get up and...
You get out at...
Yeah, I'm gonna beat the shit out of the spooky shit.
You got out at 6:40, man.
71, 48, 074, 48 for 622. 71 and 55. Big drink. Before 2031.
Dispatch, street's gonna be out back. What are you supposed to be? What are you supposed to be?
And I say probably about 95% of our calls is alcohol related. It's unfortunate. The Pine Ridge Indian Reservation is a dry reservation, which means you cannot possess or even consume alcohol here. It is against the law.
Move up. I need a little help. Help me out. There you go.
Hey, Bruce, to you.
Last year, we arrested over 15,000 people. But I can't look at him as a criminal. No, I look at him as someone that has a problem that nobody's helping us with. They were kind enough to say, we'll put you on the reservation. The problem was, when they put us on the reservation and took everything away from us, our way of life, and try to replace it with something that wasn't us, it killed us. And one of the things that I say is pertaining to men, I'm not being sexist or anything like that. You know, nowadays, you know, even our own women, you know, thinks it's sexist, you know, and all this and that. And sometimes what I say is that our ancestors, you know, the men were warriors. If you were a male born in, you know, to a tribe, you were already labeled as someone that was going to protect this tribe. You were already labeled as someone that was going to go out and feed this tribe. You were going to be a warrior. And as part of that warrior, there were societies that you had to be a part of. You couldn't be out of it because you had to be a part of that society. Each society
there was a ritual to go to be part of that.
Kill the Indian, save the man, lautet das Motto der Politik. Zerstöre alles Indianische, bewahre den Menschen. Kinder werden von ihren Familien getrennt, weit weg von zu Hause in eigens dafür eingerichtete Schulen gesteckt und in Uniformen. Ihnen werden die Haare abgeschnitten, die eigene Sprache verboten. Wer kein Englisch spricht oder es auch nur falsch ausspricht, wird bestraft und misshandelt.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Lisa, Dalton, and Spur in Mila. Every 2 years, there is the campaign for the new administration, tribal government, and you have people talking about treaty. It's in the treaty. Or this is not in the treaty. What is and what is not in the treaty? It's very important to understand that. And you're going to see that the treaty is making the first cracks through which colonization will start and actively turn the Lakota into farmers. All right. Questions. What is the effect on the people nowadays? I already mentioned Indian health services. When an emergency happens, and it happens a lot, we are to be given a good health care on the reservation. It's in the treaty. You're going to see it. It's not really happening, but we should never think, well, we don't need IHS, it's not good anyway, because health care from outside that we would never be able to afford. Okay, so
I'm a philosophy professor. That's what I was over in Europe, and it's a never-ending quest for understanding, for meaning. I've been interested in Lakota and other languages. I was not looking at me as French. You know, I had written a song that with my friend Francis. We used to sing that. I was born in France, but I did not ask for that. That's where it just happened. I had everything that you can dream of in France. You know, I had tenure of my teaching position, and I was done paying for my house. So you know, so somewhat I was done over there, wasn't I? You know.
back.
Yeah, right.
They're slowly coming. They all run on Indian times. Today we're here to first feed you all and to ask that you continue to support us in the upcoming election. I want to say good afternoon to everybody and thank you all for coming.
That's good.
Is it? Vegetable soup, chili, and bulldog beef.
Chili spicy or no?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't try it. The decisions that I made, you know, I made for the people, with them in mind. And I'm not a politician. I'm just a concerned community member, and I really don't like the politics out here in the districts. I know that land is a big issue. We need to hang on to our land. I mean, without our land, what are we? You know, we'll just be assimilated into this world and basically forgotten. And our land is very important to me. And I always tell people, please don't sell your land. I mean, times are hard, but, you know, if you sell your land to a non-member, that goes away.
He was a good leader, and the man who usually became a leader of a group of people was a really good hunter. And so every day his job was before sunrise to be out hunting to look for wild game, you know, for his family. And the other skill he had was, because of that accuracy, was to be able to hunt and capture horses from enemy tribes. So those deeds all allowed him to earn feathers.
I'd seen one over there, but after I passed behind those, he was gone. Just one, so.
What did you see?
A deer.
Oh.
Deer. Let's see.
Remember, I brought some wasabi back from somewhere and we...
Lakota. Lakota che ne so shiti hata. Hasto wayechi. Moccasin Gazette lady. Yo moccasin lady. Moccasin Gazette lady. Sind Kalakilin Frau. Is that you? Oh hey. Oh, what's that?
Carrie gave those to them.
Oh. What's that?
The boys get on spiritual kink there. Actually, I go spiritual cake. I had to every morning get words get as tunky keep okay.
No, it's too. Wish me with you tuna. Ta techio xui. Taku trawa pahaya we hiokila. We hiokila the closest to the star, the sky, the closest. In Scala, naha wapaha le washichwila staff.
Im Jahr 1910 kommt ein Geschäftsmann aus Europa in das Reservat, Adrian Jacobsen. Er soll im Auftrag von Hagenbeck, dem Direktor des Tierparks in Hamburg, Lakota für eine Völkerschau einkaufen. Erst nachdem die US-Regierung zustimmt, darf er sich auf die Suche machen. Jacobsen sucht typische Indianer und stellt sie sich so vor. Krieger mit markanten Gesichtern, langem dunklem Haar und traditioneller Kleidung. Es geht ihm darum, eine romantische Fantasie der Menschen in Europa zu bedienen. Jacobsen aber wird mit der Realität konfrontiert. Die Gesichter der Lakota erzählen von ihrem Dasein im Reservat. Von Hunger, Krankheit und verletzten Seelen. Einer, der Jacobsens Bild entspricht, ist Edward Two Two. Gemeinsam mit seiner Frau und seiner Enkeltochter wird er engagiert. Die Lakota bekommen eigene Verträge. Für 10 Monate können sie das Reservat verlassen, um als Darsteller in der Völkerschau in Hamburg aufzutreten. Edward Two Two unterschreibt seinen Vertrag mit dem Abdruck eines Fingers. Jacobsen kauft Requisiten für die Schau. Adlerfedern und Kopfschmuck. Kleider, die einmal zu ihrem Leben gehörten, tragen sie nun als Kostüme. Kostüme, die sie von der Abreise aus dem Reservat bis zu ihrer Rückkehr nicht mehr ablegen dürfen. Und so verlässt Edward Two Two zum ersten Mal in seinem Leben die Prärie. Seine Reise führt ihn nach Europa. in einen Tierpark in Hamburg.
Yes. Okay. So do I look like the next Brad Pitt? I think I look better myself, you know. But I'm partial to darker hair, you know.
Just for men.
Just for men. I go Lakota natural. The reason why my wife and I don't live on the reservation is because it's not conducive to what we're trying to do, having our own business. Did you guys mop out the restrooms? Oh, okay. Some Indians have looked at me and my wife as, you guys are millionaires because you own a business. That is totally wrong. So we make enough to pay our bills. That's it. We're all two-leggeds, just like everyone else. We don't have wings, yes. We wear braids. But you don't see any on me nowadays. You know, I used to have long hair. Used to wear braids. But that comes back to the point of where I said, you know, people have to learn to live within two worlds. My pizza's not made from here. It's made from here. And that's the best food anyone can ever eat. And that comes back to part of my pride. I try to do the best that I can do in what I'm doing, and that's making pizzas. So my pizzas, in essence, are a reflection of me, which in turn, I'm a reflection of my people. The Indians nowadays are no different than anyone else. You know. You can talk about the culture, you can talk about the ceremonies in our old way, but even I think I would have trouble surviving as they did. They were a strong people. We become weak people, and that shouldn't be romanticized.
Have you talked about the time that you were with Wild West show and got left in Germany? And anything that you remember about that?
Just see what it is.
This is
How old were you when that happened?
a tape of my great-grandmother.
About being in Germany.
She was talking about the grandfather who died in Dresden.
The year that you were over there, what year was that?
1910.
1910.
That was the first time my grandfather and my grandma were going, and I went with them. And I remember when we were on the ship, I don't know how many days we were on that ship. My grandfather used to take me to the dining room to eat. And of course, everybody was seasick.
Oh my. Indianer, the Germans called you, huh?
Yes.
Indianer.
Remember that, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. How did the German people treat you there?
Just fine. We play with German kids.
Now, did the other children speak to you when you were?
Maybe they wanted to, but of course we didn't understand their language.
If you went to Germany now, what would you want to do, Teresa?
I would like to go see my grandfather's grave.
my earmuffs are? You know where my earmuffs are? Yesterday my ears got really cold.
In deiner Schublade? Du ziehst doch die Mütze auf. Rosé. Willst du nicht den noch drunter ziehen? Ist die warm genug?
Ja.
Tschüss. Tschüss. Habt einen schönen Tag. Ja.
It's a sad place sometimes. But dealing with the reality on a day-to-day basis, it can get difficult. I know it does for Marie. I know sometimes she probably just wants to leave. I'm thankful that she stays. But I always told her it's by her choice, not mine. She understands that.
Well, we were talking about why that it must have to do something with this place, though. You know, that you get kind of, even though it's such a sad and tragic place, but then, you know, Lakota stay here, and so many Europeans stay here, and I couldn't really explain why that is. That I just, when I'm in Germany, I just miss this place so much, and I'm kind of so thankful that I'm connected to it, you know, and can return to it. But I couldn't really explain why.
I couldn't explain it for you. I know why I'm here. I mean,
Lass mich mal. Nee, weil ich glaube, wenn das daneben geht. Okay. Zieh mal auf und dann kannst du mal pumpen. Da, pump mal. Oh, she good.
poor guy.
Did I tell you that we have something like Halloween in Germany?
No.
Called Fasching, and that kids dress up as Indians. Still.
Okay. That's funny.
That's a favorite outfit. Ich bin zum ersten Mal hierher gekommen durch ein organisches Gartenbauprojekt und habe dann den Vater meiner Kinder hier kennengelernt. Und ich war dann immer ein halbes Jahr in Deutschland, ein halbes Jahr hier. Und ich saß dann in Deutschland auf meinem Sofa und alle Vorteile waren mir bewusst. Trotzdem habe ich dann bestimmte Gegenden hier im Reservat, bestimmte Straßen, die ich lang gefahren bin, in meinem Geist gesehen und ja, diese Sehnsucht verspürt, jetzt da sein zu wollen und zurückzukehren. Obwohl ich wusste, dass es kein einfaches Leben wird.
Anfang des 19. Jahrhunderts können nur wenige reisen. Es entspricht dem Zeitgeist, sich die Welt nach Hause zu holen. Neben den wenigen ethnologisch authentischen Schauen präsentieren die meisten der sogenannten Völkerschauen fremde Kulturen, wie man sie sich in Europa vorstellt. Die Lakota Sioux werden im Stil einer Wild-West-Show inszeniert. Die Lakota wohnen auch in ihrer Kulisse. Nach der Show kann das Publikum sie dort besuchen. Die Völkerschau der Lakota Sioux war die erfolgreichste aller Völkerschauen bei Hagenbeck.
If there was one thing you wanted to tell your great-grandchildren about your experiences with the Wild West show, what would it be?
We put on our show in the afternoon and at night. Of course, there was cowboys and that stagecoach. A stagecoach the Indians chased. I felt that was something great.
When the cowboys shot and the Indians had to fall off their horses, it didn't bother you that the Indians didn't win?
No.
You took part in the dances, huh?
Yes. Just as soon as we get there, we put on a dance and...
And you were wearing your Sioux costumes? Then?
Yes. We have to dress in our costumes all the time.
I see. Now, you said that they put up teepees and all. Did you actually sleep in the teepees at night?
Yes. They had a campground for us. So my grandfather made little wooden beds for us. So. But they slept on the ground. See, old-timers like that don't care to sleep on a bed. They'd rather sleep on the ground.
And you're not an old-timer. You weren't an old-timer then.
The things that Grandfather Two Two, Edward, did was, in a way back then, very amazing. Because, you know, it was a very hard life. You know, they were some very, very tough people. And for them to go out and, you know, do these things, I know they had to swallow their pride. I know my grandfather Edward had to swallow his pride to show how the Indians of old were no more.
This was the era of the last desperate attempt of the Indian to hold his own against the white man.
So anyway, he's the ultimate Indian, Winnetou. My theory is because of Winnetou, all the Germans love Indians.
His name lives in every tent.
And it's from 1963, okay?
That was a good year. They're supposed to be Navajo or what?
They're supposed to be Apaches.
Geez, they even got Northwest in there too.
I know the totem pole. They have it all.
All mixed up.
That's Winnetou's sister.
The first Indian maiden we seen. Mean old thick braids.
Well, I thought she's so beautiful.
Pearly white teeth. Oh. house. Going to Disney World. Sliced the wrist.
We did that as kids too after that movie. With pins though.
Interesting. But you say that this movie was made in the 60s? And it was based off that book, though, or?
The book is from the 1800s.
They based the movie off the book.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking, you know, in the 60s, they should have had the capabilities of researching, you know. You know, even the good Indians were the bad Indians.
Only because it was a misunderstanding, remember?
But it's still, I mean,
But it develops. You know, now they're friends.
Develops.
There sure was some good acting.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I mean, watching it now, I think it's really stupid, but as a kid, I loved this movie, and I loved the Indians.
I wouldn't mind reading the book. The book would be interesting to see how he... But, you know, apparently it influenced a lot of people.
Local, il y a un capot. How do you say, I need to go to the bathroom? Okay, good. You could say, as a girl, you could say also, a lot of students come to me. Didi, how do you say that in Lakota? Didi, my mom was telling me something and she used the Lakota word and I can't remember it. What is it? They actually look at me as a depository of knowledge, and I'm far from knowing it all. They probably feel more comfortable to ask me, because I'm not originally from here, than to ask to the very few here in the school who could answer that question. Good day, good morning. Black, ska. White.
Badger.
Hoka, yes, the badger is black and white. Mashtin chala ki chikala. In Lakota say mashtin chala ki chikala.
Rabbit is small.
The rabbit is little, is small. Okay, let's go back to the conversation. Once more, I'm going to read it once more and then. Okay, Cody, you do just K and I do a happy. I really fought in the school to make a larger room, give more significance to the teaching of the language and the culture. I really advocated that in front of the board, and I brought some changes in the school in that respect because I was given that so that it could be given back to who it really belongs, which is the young generation who don't have it. Because it's been taken away from their family for so long, for 2-3 generations. The language is gone. The understanding of the culture became confused. The culture itself was lost, but just for the surface of the visibility of some cultural things. But the deep meanings, or even the not so visible customs,
are gone. Those students come here, they can at least meet, cross that.
It's not too busy, so it's nice.
Oh, good.
This is a good time of year to visit.
Yeah, it is.
What about coffee?
Yeah, have a warm-up, please.
Sure.
You know, Grandpa, it was a mystery. When I was a little kid, I wondered who he was. I really didn't believe he even existed. So I asked my mom and my relatives in Pine Ridge. Nobody knew enough. What I know that is fact and truth. I know I am one of the true grandsons. I have a document in there, my birth certificate and all of that, saying that my father is Steve Tutu, his son.
We sought water and grazing for our horses. There, we would make a village for the winter. Autumn was the great buffalo hunting season. The cows are best for food then, and we needed extra meat for the winter.
One of the first things we did when we killed the buffalo, we took a little bit of blood in a buffalo horn spoon and we drank that.
It almost sounds like it's a make-up story or a make-believe fantasy. The people that seen him perform, I guess they liked it. I think that's how come Grandpa did what he did. He went back 3 times.
Nach Ablauf des Vertrages in Hamburg müssen die Lakota ins Reservat zurückkehren. Nach kurzer Zeit schon lässt Edward Two Two Briefe schreiben und schickt sie nach Deutschland. Er will wieder dorthin. Zur selben Zeit hat der berühmte deutsche Zirkusdirektor Hans Stosch Sarasani die Idee, Lakota Sioux in seinem Zirkus zu präsentieren. Der Wunsch des einen erfüllt die Sehnsucht des anderen. So reist Edward Two Two mit anderen Lakota aus seinem Reservat im Frühjahr 1913 zum Zirkus Sarasani nach Dresden. Der Zirkus macht aus Edward Two Two den großen Häuptling aller Sioux. Denn einen Häuptling erwartet das Publikum. Sarasani ist ein Meister der Inszenierung. Und die Lakota werden bewundert wie Stars. Wenn der Zirkus auf Reisen ist, müssen sie nicht wie die anderen Artisten beim Auf- und Abbau helfen. seiner Show zeigt Sarasani diesen kurzen Film, der eigens dafür mit Edward Two Two und seiner Gruppe gedreht wurde. Cowboys jagen Lakota durch einen Dresdner Birkenwald. Der erste deutsche Indianerfilm.
Come on. Come on. Nupa is my name in Oglala, and it became Tutu. I have lived that name for 60-some years, and now I'm thinking about changing my name back to Nupala. And I don't see there's no reason why I can't. That it's one of our true names. So the name Tutu came about in translation. We had nothing to do about that. That's how they wanted to recognize us.
Morning, afternoon.
I'm a Tutu, she's a Tutu. That's the only thing I know, that he was our dad's dad.
Somewhere over there we have relatives.
Why?
Because he was married over there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what it had on that paper. It had he was married and there was 2 kids. But I'm not sure. See, that's where people have to look into.
If I got the story right, this picture is a picture of Grandpa when he's younger.
When he was younger?
When he was a lot younger. It's painted.
This one here?
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting to bring things back.
I have his eyes.
You're wishing now.
I have his eyes. No, the nose. That's a mistake. Let Jay look this way and then
I think he done the right thing by staying there and making that wish to remain there. I was asked more than once, how come we don't bring him home? And it was hard to tell my family. Why break his wish? He's there for a reason. And the time hasn't really changed that much in 100 years about the Native American. They want to say it did. But they need to come and live and walk in my shoes.
In the United States, it's kind of hard with the racism. There's a lot of racism that goes around, especially in the state of South Dakota. We get a lot of stares and bad looks and glares from people when we leave the reservation, and that kind of discourages people to go places. But I've got hired by this dance company. Been in a couple different plays overseas. We went to Sweden and we just danced from town to town to town, basically just putting on different shows, showing off our culture, our heritage, our history, our outfits, giving them a little bit of an understanding of what Lakota people are in the 20th century, how we're living now, just living our everyday life.
Assisted by Alden Tyon, Robert Janice,
and Michael Jacobson. Lining up under the center. It goes to Anthony Hunt. Takes the snap. There's a big rush. Second and 10. Shotgun again. Okay, there's a flag on the play. Intended receiver Kevin Hunt. And less than a yard, I would say. Okay, almost intercepted. Second and 10. Got a nice crowd here. Do we have any Mustang fans in the house here today? Here, back to pass. He's got the Rocketeers open. He never throws it. It's picked off. Back there, Strong. He's ready to go side. Jim Bradford is in the stands, one of our state senators. Said, don't forget to vote.
I have 5 duck eggs if you want some.
Sure.
Okay.
Ich habe hier keine Lakota-Freundinnen. Aber das kann ich auch akzeptieren. Also das ist jetzt auch kein Problem irgendwie für mich. Das kann ich einfach verstehen. Also ich werde respektvoll und freundlich von allen behandelt. Mir ist noch nie irgendwie was Hässliches widerfahren, aber ich kann eben dieses Misstrauen, das mir gegenübergebracht wird, in einem bestimmten Maß, einfach durch meine Hautfarbe und Herkunft, und das kann ich verstehen und akzeptieren. Also ich mach da niemanden einen Vorwurf. Ich denke da öfters drüber nach, einfach weil ich mich auch oft genug oder fast täglich frage, ob ich am richtigen Ort bin und für meine Kinder am richtigen Ort bin. Wenn die jetzt älter werden und anfangen zu pubertieren, und ja, stellt sich für mich fast jeden Tag die Frage, soll ich sie irgendwo anders großziehen oder... Und dann denke ich drüber nach, warum bin ich hier? Und klar, zum einen ist es, weil ich den Joe hier gefunden habe. Und ja, Glück.
1,405. And Teresa at 1,376, which is 49.1%.
Teresa's losing too.
So it's like 1% difference.
Holy smokes.
90 over John. John won, that's from District 236 and 217. He won overall 191 to 170. So Ernie Little.
That's only 2 votes.
And Warren Cross. 40.4%. For Board of Trustees, Dennis Brewer, 200 votes.
What was the total for that president and vice president?
John Stewart was 1,405. I told Joe, just let them have their butt heads for 2 years. They're gonna take him back.
You know what you gonna do? Take a vacation, huh?
I mean, a lot of people voted for you, though. I mean, not too many voted, you know. And a lot of them wanted you back.
Yeah.
It's just a close one.
You think you can make some kind of a difference. You always run into these walls, and whenever you find out just how corrupt it all is, then you really look at it like, this is going to take a miracle to change this. Sometimes, you know, I feel like saying the heck with it all. Let's get the heck out of here. But, you know, it's like, it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing to see what have become of our people.
Don't pull the roots, huh? Okay? You want to use Kaka's knife? Make it, put it in the dirt. It's not going to be sharp anymore. Oh. See, don't break it.
How do you sun dance?
You pray, yeah, inipi. I don't say sweat. That's what Shichu say, sweat. It's inipi. 4 days before you start to get away from, you know, life, TV, all that stuff, and put peace in your heart, and then when you go over there, you know that you're gonna talk with your ancestors. The mystery will be there, and you're gonna get strength from that. When you're a sentencer, you need to keep yourself pure and.
You sun danced a long time.
For 7 years. 7 years in a row, 4 days every year. I pierced twice each time.
That's how you sun dance?
Yeah.
You have to get scars on your back?
Yeah. Remember the scars on my back?
That would be cool, like on Batman. He would, those things when he throws them, he throw them and hit the bad guy, and they come back and he gets them.
That's like in the movies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Fiction.
Fiction.
And fantasy.
But you know, when you sentence like Kaka, you're not supposed to drink. Drink beer. You know, in Chikaka, we don't drink beer, alcohol, never.
Ate shouldn't.
Ate should sentence, and that would help him. Okay.
Instead of when he's drinking drugs, he could die. That wouldn't be so happy.
Jacob and Jesse lived with us. Because alcohol is everywhere, and I don't know, it's with those two, Jess, my son, and Betty. And all we can do is just talk to them, and we always mention the grandkids, their children, they need you. And I think that's the only thing we can do. Because my daughter lived in Allen, and that's what they did, so I know her children were living that life. And Jacob and Jesse, Jacob probably did when he was younger, when they lived in their own place out here. But after 5 years old, he stayed with us, and I think from then he's been without. So that was good.
I don't know what Marie thinks about it. I asked her if she thought Jake and Rosie would be better in Germany. She's been told by some that they would be better off over there. And sometimes I wonder that too. I've always told her that if there ever comes a time when she needs to go back there, I can't hold her back from going back there. I mean, at that time I said I'll always wait here for her. But, at this point, I mean, I told her I would actually go over there with her, and be there with her for as long as time permits. I mean, I'll always return to here, though. I mean, it's home. It's home, and we've kind of set our roots down here. And Marie's aware that, this is where I want to be whenever it comes close to the end, where I have to leave this place. These are my people.
Edward Two Two aber kehrt nie mehr zurück. Im Jahr 1914 darf er ein weiteres Mal das Reservat verlassen. Wieder für eine Zirkustournee mit Sarasani. Es ist seine 3. Reise nach Deutschland. Und es wird seine letzte sein. Auf der Zirkustournee wird er krank. Vorsorglich verkündet Edward Two Two seinen letzten Willen. Sein Herz soll dort beerdigt werden, wo ihm die Sehnsucht der Menschen eine Identität gegeben hat. In Dresden. Das Leben als romantische Fantasie seines Publikums ist ihm mehr Heimat geworden als das unfreie Land seiner Ahnen. Edward Two Two stirbt. Laut Vertrag müsste der Leichnam nach Amerika verschifft werden. Für ihn aber wird eine Ausnahmeregelung getroffen, seinem Wunsch entsprechend. So endet die Geschichte vom Häuptling Two Two an einem Sommertag im Jahr 1914.
Wir haben alsdann den Leichnam des Häuptlings in einem Zelte aufgebahrt. Die Sioux hielten ihre Totenwache, gemessen tanzend und wehmutsvolle Lieder klagend. Die Schleusen des Himmels brachen auf. Der große Geist hatte ihren Two Two